You. As always, we love your views as well on the news. You can tweet us. Our Twitter handle is at K24 TV. You can also SMS us on 21222. The WhatsApp number will be scrolling at the bottom of your screen in just a moment, so you can also send your WhatsApp messages, and we'll be looking at them right here on the show. We'll start off by looking at the front pages of the dailies, and then we get to my panel as well as we discuss the big issues of the day. Front page of the People Daily. Kenyan students stuck in virus hit Chinese province. The disease has claimed 81 and infected more than 3,000 on that particular issue. And of course, it's one that's being followed very keenly right here, and it's on the front page of your PD this morning. Also on the front page, Ruto and Raila allies set to hold parallel rallies on BBI. Jubilee Secretary General Tuju disowns meeting by DP backers who declared party position on document. You can get that story, of course, in your copy of your People Daily. It's free, so get it, of course, and get fully informed. Front page of the Daily Nation. Revolt as Ruto Group resolves to go it alone, vowing that it is, quote-unquote, the beginning of the end between the two leaders. More than 100 MPs who support the deputy president plot to bring Uhuru under pressure over BBI campaign. Also, on the front page of the Daily Nation, tighter water wars. Farmer from Sugoi has grabbed all our water county claims, this being a Deputy President Ruto, and they're taking it to court seeking orders to access his farm in that particular area. It's a story that you can get, of course, in your copy of your Daily Nation this morning. Front page of the Standard, Ruto Palace Coup, the headline goes. 173 MPs defy party secretariat to attend retreat organized by Deputy President's allies and vow to hold separate BBI rallies. Tuju disowns meeting, says resolutions are not binding. That's the lead story in your copy of the Standard. Also on the front page, ODM pushes for new power structure. Raila Party declares support for regional governments and powerful Prime Minister, saying these are the most popular proposals from the ongoing regional BBI meetings. You can get that in your copy of your Standard this morning. Front page of the Star, Kenyatta meets DP Ruto for 5 hours over BBI. Tanga MPs announced a series of their rallies. First time the two have had a lengthy talk this year, and it's a story that you can get in your copy of the Star therein. Also, Babu Owino out on 10 million shilling bail, barred from taking alcohol and narcotics. You can get that particular story in your copy of the Star this morning. And then finally, front page of your Business Daily. Law loophole denies bank customers billions in relief. Some banks are still charging 13% as they await interpretation of the rule. That's a story that you can get in your copy of your Business Daily this morning. From there, let me get to my panel, of course, as we discuss the big issues of the day. Mark Bichachi, governance expert. Good morning.
Good morning. How
Welcome
are you?
back to the show. Good morning.
Thank you.
We also have Joy Mdivo, Executive Director, East Africa Center for Law and Justice. Good morning.
Morning, Jeff.
First time on the show, Joshua Kilimu, MP Kaiti. A very good morning. Welcome to the show.
Morning.
And of course, Happy New Year. Fred Oda, MP Kisumu Central. You left us for a while. Welcome back in 2020.
I am back from the rallies.
Yes. I could see you're busy.
Yeah, of course you are busy. Good morning.
Yes.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Okay, let's get right to it even before we jump into those rallies that seems like they're bringing more divisions than the unity that they should have brought in the first place. But let's start off with the front page of the PD. Kenyan students stuck in virus hit Chinese province. Last week, we had CS Health going to JKIA just to check on the security measures that we were putting in place as far as, travelers coming to the country are concerned. And she said everything was fine on that particular end as of now. However, some people have raised queries as to how exactly we're dealing with this. There's no special treatment to flights from China, as was seen when there was Ebola in Africa, where the planes will be put elsewhere. You first go through a thorough screening before getting in. So people are wondering, yes, we are saying all is fine, but what exactly are we doing? Because once we, disembark the plane, we're all in the same line, we're all going through the same place. What's your take on this, Mark? Have you been following this particular issue?
I am tickled by how serious and unserious the coronavirus is. What I mean by that is, if you look at how carefully it's being monitored out of China and in other countries, you'll understand that perhaps it's not reached the level where Ebola had reached for us to have those kind of stringent measures. Right. The truth of the matter, even the World Health Organization has been careful to term it as a possible disaster. Right. So we need to understand that these things go according to levels. So far, the infections have not spread as far as Ebola had and the distances that it had gone. That being said, it does not mean that the government should then be lax in terms of putting in those measures. As they say, it is better to play it safe than be sorry.
Right.
So my thinking is this, and I'm by no means a health expert. I think the first thing that should happen is the government should give more confidence to the Kenyan people as to what is going on. If you go on YouTube, for example, the CDC in the United States has a doctor explaining the symptoms, how to make sure you don't catch the virus, and how many times you need to wash your hands. You shouldn't touch your face as often as you would normally. So those are the things that we need to hear from the Ministry of Health, and it's very important that they give us that confidence, but it's also important they give us the scale of the risk for Kenya and how far they are going. As far as the people who are stuck in that province in China, it's also very important for the Kenyan government to give us updates on their status. Are they safe? Are they quarantined? Can they travel back home? If not, when can they travel back home? How are they taking steps? That's what needs to happen. This is a question of the public reacting to very little information and therefore comparing it to what they saw last time.
Right. Joy, I'll come to you because some people are saying that, yes, the CS went to the airport, but that was just merely optics, just to make sure that I've been here, you've seen me here, everything is okay, and you'll move on. But nothing really has been done on the ground, just to even elevate the level of measures being taken there, even just a bit in regards to the coronavirus.
If you want to know how serious this virus is, look at how the Chinese are treating it. Right now in China, over 60 million Chinese people are in lockdown. They're not allowed to leave where their towns. They're quarantined, and they're being held there because of the spread of the virus. We are told that this virus is one of those ones that you can be contagious before you even show any symptoms. So before you even know you're sick, you've sat with us around this table. You've infected all of us with it. That's what makes this virus sinister. Already 82 Chinese are already dead from this virus. And it has already been seen in 13 other countries other than in China. What does that tell us? It tells us that with the regular interaction we have with people coming in and out of China, we need to be vigilant because we are at risk of becoming a center. And unlike the Chinese, who have elaborate measures to try and contain the virus, because it can be self-limiting. That's a good thing with viruses. They pick a place and they sort of burn out if you don't have anything else to burn. And if you're strong enough, then the fever breaks and you start healing. Right. But here in Kenya, do we know enough about it such that if somebody does confirm that they have the virus, we know what to do with it? I agree with Mark. Ministry of Education should not, Health should not be giving us the optics. They should be giving us the facts. Make sure you wash your hands, make sure you wear a face mask, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. This is what it looks like. If somebody has recently traveled, if you feel like this, don't wait, go to the hospital. In hospitals, do we have units that you can quarantine people? Do you have enough medicine to deal with it? That's what we want to know, is a level of preparedness. Not press statements with assurances that everything is under control, because we have had those assurances before. Then when the rubber met the road, we realized that there wasn't much by way of preparation. So because this virus, it's not yet epidemic, I agree, but it has the potential to very quickly become something other than that is outside the normal. And it can be devastating, because we have seen it can be deadly. It's not just another flu that you sleep off. Let us see more concrete steps from the Ministry of Health, and let us see also a more robust response at the entry point, because that's where, if there's going to be exposure, that's where it will start.
Honorable Joshua, I'll come to you as well, because on one hand, the government executive will do what they need to do, but also at times they need a bit of a nudge, if not a push from Parliament. When does it get to a threshold where parliamentarians also demand more from the CS of Health or the ministry to up their measures in terms of such issues?
Okay, thank you, Jeff. I think this is the time we need to see a lot of a serious action being taken to Kenyans, because we don't. I don't think whether this is the time we need to handle this issue as we dealt with locusts in this country, because sometimes in this country we have a problem whereby once something happens, it takes a lot of time for Kenyans for the government to respond. But I think as a member of parliament, we also need to play a role on this, especially right now. We need to put some measures, because if we have such a problem, an outbreak of such a serious virus, it's a time we need to show Kenyans that we are leaders and we are taking measures. Not because the problem we have as Kenyans is that we talk a lot, but action, it's a problem.
Right.
So I think this is the time we need to unite, come together as Kenyans, and get the measures. And the Minister of Health, we need to see actions now. Not talking, but we need to even sensitize Kenyans about this virus. Because if this virus strikes in Kenya, there'll be serious damage, and this is a disaster awaiting.
Right.
So I think we need to do something about the virus.
Right. Honorable Fred, I'll come to you because even as Honorable Joshua says something needs to be done right now, it seems like as a country psyche politically, we are all looking in one direction. It's 3 letters, BBI, everything else has fallen onto the side. How do you focus on all the other issues that are pertinent to what's going on? You told me you are very busy on the other side, and it seems like the train has moved and there's a lot of momentum in that direction. How do you bring it back to such issues politically, so to speak?
That's why we have the political wing we have the political wing in this side and the executive wing and the technocrats, like Mark Bichache here, and my dear friend here. I just them they don't focus so much in politics, and that even goes to all our public servants, including our CSs, including the CS for Health, the new CS for Health. Now, one, we just need, first of all, and I want to agree with my colleague, to pull together as a country, because here we are talking of a virus that can kill millions of people in a very few days, in very few days. And I want to say that there's a time that our public health sector need to be more alert, and especially when it comes to all our entry points in this country, not only JKIA, even Uganda, even, because some people can land in Kampala and then drive back to this country, or even Tanzania, and you can, and as you know, Jeff, and you all know that we have such a big influx of Chinese in this country. They are coming in day and night, maybe for construction, work, seminars, and all that. So our men and women at all our entry points must just be alert, especially those who are working for government, maybe to deliver services to this country in all those entry points. Our public sector need to take this seriously, alert our people, train them, tell them, and even by now, we should be having a hospital, or rather a few wards that are ready to handle any emerging cases of this virus. So to me, I'm very optimistic, and I want to say that I will not fault anybody for now. I will say, as a country, let us be vigilant. The CS must be alert, our public sector must be alert, and our men and women at the entry points must just be alert, so that we are able to handle this virus. Okay,
and of course, we'd take your views on this as well. You can tweet us at K24 TV. Alternatively, you can also SMS us with the WhatsApp number that's at the bottom of your screen. I want us to move quickly along to a story that's covered on the front page of the PD. It's also on the front page of the Standard and the Daily Nation. Ruto and Raila allies set to hold parallel rallies, says the PD. Revolt as Ruto group resolves to go it alone. Ruto Palace School, says the Standard. Mark, this is the year, and actually this quarter, we should be having a Jubilee elections going on. And that's what we're waiting to see how this will play out. Does the party finally come together after these elections? With what we're seeing, and does that election ever happen?
We are trying to glue water and oil with super glue together, and I don't think it's going to work.
When did they become water and oil?
I don't know. After the handshake, there was an instant separation. You see, what's going on is, and I keep saying this, the moment you look at BBI and the next 2 years through the lens of 2022, then you become very partisan very quickly. If you look at BBI as a vehicle to get Raila into office and you're William Ruto and his team, then you want to form a parallel thing. Remember, this is not, the parallel rallies are not about BBI. They're about showing that the Tanga wing does have space, political space in this country. They're about flexing might, and it will be about how big is your crowd versus how big is mine. That's really the bottom line. This is not about discussing the issues, because if it was discussing the issues, both of these camps would be talking about how can we go to the Secretariat and present our ideas and thoughts and things like that. This is pure and simple a pissing contest, and it is seen as a way of survival for the Tanga Brigade. Unfortunately for them, they seem to be Tanga-Tangaing ideologically, and this is in terms of narrative. They've come from condemning the rallies to attending one rally, then to running their own rallies. That shows lack of consistency, which has been the game around the handshake and BBI from day one. You know, day one it was we support, a few days later we don't support, Raila is a con man, stop insulting me, insult me, and things like that. So what needs to happen is the people of Kenya need to be very aware that this, as far as they are concerned, it is two gentlemen having a pissing contest, and unfortunately we are the grass upon which they piss. That's just the truth. But as clever Kenyans, what we should realize is the tussle of the politicians gives us an opportunity. What is that opportunity? There are lots of things in the BBI and things that we can add to the BBI that are beneficial to the Kenyan people. As they fight to pass what they want, can the Kenyan people get their pound of flesh? Can they get in there and get what is theirs? Whether it is a tax regime review or it's a change in terms of how our security is done, whether it's federalism, the way the people of the coast may have suggested, whatever it is the Kenyan people want, this is the time to grab it. But as far as these parallel rallies are concerned, it's purely a pissing contest between the two top politicians.
Joe, even as you say that the Kenyans need to get what they can out of this particular document, they're still asking the same question. And even yesterday, 4 or 5 people still asking me, yes, you guys talk about the BBI, but where is it? I have not seen it, I have not read it, nasikia vile wanasema kwa TV, but you've never gotten a chance to read this thing. I hear it's only in English, so hata sijui vile nitaisoma hapo. So really, there seems to be a bigger fundamental question in the sense that, were they really meant to understand this in the first place, or had the course of this particular project already been put in place, and we're merely just ticking boxes as we go along?
We saw the task force yesterday doing their first meeting. And for me, as a Kenyan, I would stake my claim and my hope more on what the task force do when they come round with their town hall meetings, rather than what the politicians are doing. Because if you listen to the politicians, they're speaking from both sides of their mouth. We want to ease the burden on Kenyans, but we want to add another layer of governance. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense. So that we have the president, then we've got regional governments, then we've got county governments, then we still have the provincial administration. As in, it's absolute ridiculousness. But when you listen to the politicians, you understand that they have something that they're looking for. And that's why when this Tanga group doesn't feel like it's being accommodated with what's with BBI, even with trying to participate, they still feel like it's an ODM rally and we are not there, let's do our own rally. I think the Kenyans should shift their focus back to what the task force wants to put out. Because like you said, the task force is the one that is charged with responsibility with producing a report in June. We want them to listen to Kenyans, and with them, because they don't have the political clout to pull rallies, they'll have to sit down and speak to Kenyans and listen from Kenyans. You have put out a very important factor about access to this BBI report. Currently, it's available online. I've even seen a Swahili version of it. But again, it is available online. So you have to have a smartphone, you have to have bundles to access it. I'm hoping that moving forward, the task force is going to present, even if it is something that is an abridged version, or something that, that can be handed out, or pull out in a newspaper, like we saw with the last 2010 proposed constitution then, or have the government present something that can be bought for 20-30 bob. Eventually, they need to do that, because if Kenyans are going to engage with this material, there are those of us who have access online, but the ones who don't will want to see something in their hands. And there are those who, even if they have access online, will still tell you how to jaiona. So it's like people have to have a memento to show them that they have done it. But from where I sit, when you look at the political noise and clamor around this thing, you realize it's less and less about what Mwananchi wants, and more about what is convenient for the politicians. And when it gets to there, as Mark has said, Kenyans, be wise and just don't be caught up in the hype. Go for the rallies and have a little bit of fun, but don't be caught up with the hype. When push comes to shove, make sure that you get your point across, and then look out for what comes out in BBI report number 2, because that is what is supposed to be the voice of the people.
Okay, we're going to take a short break on that particular point. You'll come back and hear from the two politicians we do have right here, Honorable Joshua and Honorable Fred, on that particular issue. We want your say on this as well. You can tweet us at K24 TV or send us a WhatsApp message. You're back with more after the break.
Now, political discussions on the current political events as we dig deep into the newspapers on K24